Greetings, Saroth the Mage, going live once again. Greetings, greetings. Oh, I thought I'd do a nice, gentle, daytime, back to basics, magic journal, like this program was always meant to be. This bit always gets cut off, so I'll just go. I mean, yes, there is much gentleness and forgiving of myself and forgiving, because it's always you, it's always me. A really interesting, and this might be all I talk about today, but a really interesting hexagram. I've been doing a lot of geomancy, I guess you could call I Ching. I use 3 coins. I don't think I've got them handy, but there's been a lot of fussing and fighting again, and I just want to say I am not engaging in it anymore. Hey, Seven Serpents, greetings, my brother. I saw it at the start of your stream last night, and then it got cut off, and it looked fascinating because you were talking about Hebrew letters and stuff. And I also studied the Hebrew alphabet as part of my Golden Dawn course. So, I mean, there's just so much to explore in magic and the occult, and that's why I love it so much. And that's why I'm never straying into anything that could even be construed as political again, because I am not a political person, and I felt, you know, I did warn people when I started this stream that a lot of stuff was going to come tumbling out. I almost thought it would be entertaining to watch someone undergo the rigors of initiation. Well, you know, I've technically been initiated. I'll talk about that later because I noticed Reemsy asked the question, but if I haven't got my glasses on, I can't see chat, and I find I can focus more on what I'm saying without seeing chat. And it's not like when you're watching it back, you can see everybody's sentences down like a line. They just pop up on screen for a second and pop back. So I actually meant to say hi to Michelle Embry because she was the first person in, and I completely missed her. Sorry, that happens sometimes. And Doc Illusion, who's got a Howman, the great name. It's a great name. But I think I called him 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. That's the way my mind works sometimes. So yeah, it's definitely back to magic. I'm starting to pick up a lot of great tips from other magical streams. Seven Serpents, you're one. Grey Wolf, always. There's also Logos of Ophiel is doing great stuff. I was just in Tamu. She does I Ching as well, kind of tarot and all that. That's the scene for me, babies. That's where I'm staying. So let's keep it esoteric. So yes, very interesting. After all the fallouts, and I have to say I am not communicating on any social media with anyone apart from maybe my Twitter and email saroth222@gmail.com, because the whole Discord thing and the chat rooms thing, it's just not working for me. And I really, you know, I was so stressed. I had a unbroken chain of long hard shift after long hard shift, and when you're trying to engage with people and do magic and work, and you know, it just becomes and I must admit I did kind of lose my top a little bit on, I think, the Sunday, and then after that it was like time for an in-breath. Your ego is exploding again. But this particular hexagram, which I got 2 nights in a row, well, 2, yeah, because I did it in the evening both times. I've never had the same hexagram twice in 2 days running in the whole of my life. I mean, it's not that huge a chance. There's only 64 hexagrams, so does that mean there's a 1 in 28 chance of 128 chance of you getting 148? my arithmetic is really bad, but it's never happened in the same moving lines as well. And it was this one, number 44, and it's called goo or koo. I never know how to say them. And it was like, whoa, I needed to hear it. So that was the 22nd. See, I don't keep a very thorough diary, I must say. It was... Here was the first one. Yeah, here. And there, yeah. Coup, coming to meet, it's called. And in the little book I've got, it was like, dangerous hour. I've let my inferior nature basically cause a shadow thing to happen, you know, an encounter with my own shadow. Because everything that you're doing in Magick is like reflected back to you. Hey, hello, Michelle. I was just saying, I was so sorry I didn't say hello to you because you were the first person in chat the other night, Saturday night. The Saturday night was the uncontrolled, you know, I shouldn't drink during streams either because I say silly things and then I can't take them back, you see. So from now on, this will be my more normal time for doing streams. I'm not catering to any audience. I don't care who watches or who doesn't watch. But I am going to make my little videos in which I talk my truth. But, you know, each man has his own truth and my truth ain't your truth. It's good to see you. It's good to see everybody who shows up. And I can't believe the amount of views. It's just, hey, Darcy, woohoo, yeah, baby. Oh, it's fantastic. It's just so accurate. Tarot can be... Tarot's great because you can... I like the sort of storytelling aspect of tarot, but the I Ching just gives you it straight. And like I say, I got this hexagram twice, 2 nights in a row with the same moving line. So that's exactly the same sequence of coins 6 times, and then the next day 6 times. And, you know, I'd promised not to lie ever, and that's something that perhaps has got me in a little bit of trouble as well. You know, it's all very well taking vows of silence and vows of not lying, but they can have repercussions because I'm not saying they can't handle the truth, but sometimes nobody wants to hear your fucking truth, you know. So you've got to know when to shut up as well, which is the vow of silence. That's what the whole thing was about. I'm trying to learn here. You know, I never claimed to be a teacher or a prophet or to hold up some kind of system as this is the only way. I'm just chucking it in. It was 44. I haven't even really discussed it that much, but I've only got one little thin book. But I mean, there's so much resources online. I should have maybe looked it up on one of my devices beforehand, but I wasn't even going to stream today. And then I thought, oh, I'm feeling so grounded and balanced, and I just had a beautiful shower, and I met my beautiful Solar Stardust for coffee this morning, and she's coming on Saturday. I've got today and tomorrow off, and I just thought, get back on the horse, baby. So the I Ching that I've through both times is hexagram 44, and some people call it the most controversial one you can get. It's if I remember right, it's heaven over... Where's it again? Oh, see? I shouldn't have used this one. Hold on. Chanting will be restored. Coup coming to meet, but I've also heard it described as goo coming to meet. And it says, darkness reappears unexpectedly. Ah! Darkness reappears unexpectedly. Caution and reticence are in order. And they definitely were. It went on to say, it is a dangerous hour. Through an eruption of our inferior nature, darkness has interrupted the flow of light. And it was my darkness. Of course it was. Who else's would it be? The inferior can be quite seductive. Yeah, I was getting carried away on my own ego, like this grade said I would do, and like I have done. And then I even begin to wonder, was it really wise to start a YouTube channel of you having another nervous breakdown? But of course it's a controlled nervous breakdown, so everything's fine. It is. It truly is. I'm very balanced, man. Yes, seductive. If we are not resolute in resisting it, the moment can be lost to misfortune. But I think I didn't see it coming because I didn't actually think it was happening. But then it all kind of unrolled like it was happening, and then I thought, oh shit, I should have seen this, because a magician's supposed to be able to play 4D chess with his life. which of course we can't all the time. But I think the techniques of magic do definitely give you more insight into people, things, everything really. If you're studying and doing any spiritual practice in a dedicated way, it's gonna well, I am the little shit. You know, we're all our own little shits. Do other people force themselves? Well, sometimes, you know, obviously sometimes that does happen, but I think 99% of the time we've caused the situation to go to shit, and then we start lashing out and blaming other people. So I ain't gonna do that. I'm responsible for my own actions, as any self-respecting maid should be. So that's what this is what the I Ching is so good for. It's an ego pricker. It says your wrong action has caused you to stray off the path, and now you've got a real fucking problem because you've got this big shadow ass demon thing staring you in the face, and it's like, you know, I mean, how bad can it really get? I've got everything I need. All my needs are met on pretty much a daily basis. There's nothing coming over me. And it's beautiful. The channel has just gone amazingly well, and the whole summer's gone well. I was going to call this a review of the summer, but the summer's not even over yet. But in Scotland, the weather has definitely turned, although it's still freakishly warm. You can just feel that lovely crisp freshness of autumn blow in from the north. From Hathor, I always think of, you know, you've got your 4 directions, the angelic directions, but I also put Egyptian deities in them sometimes. So I've got Thoth at the east. Horus is perfect with his fiery warrior nature for the south. Isis, you know, she's the goddess of 1,000 names. She fits anywhere, but I always imagine her as the temperance in the tarot. You know, she's a very calm, grounded figure. And then Hathor is very earthy. I think I had an experience with Hathor when I took those truffles. It was just this wave of woodland creature kind of sexiness, and oh my god, it was beautiful. Like just that smell of the soil, and a very deep female intelligence, probably Mother Nature herself. I've had crazy, you know, the more I listen to magicians and less to the more skeptical side of the community, the more I realise, wow, I actually have had some very strange visions and experiences indeed, but I always wrote them off as, oh come on, yeah, that was just a daydream, or it was this, or it was that. But why explain away the magical in your own life? Like when I was doing a Zealotr, and I was really into it, and I hadn't hit that wall of disbelief. Hey, Amanda! I love when, oh, and Lisa F, oh, my babies is here. How fantastic. I'll bang a gong a little bit for you guys, because you show up through thick and thin, you do. 7 people watching, see, that's just unbelievable for this time on a whatever day it is, because I never know, because I work shifts, and you should see the shifts I've got for this month. It's ridiculous, and that's why I can't engage on social media. The only place you'll find me is this video and my own email, and, you know, let's just chat here. We don't need to go in all these chat rooms, because that's where the trouble starts. Back channels, da-da-da-da-da, he said this, she said that, boo, boo, boo to back channels. Let's keep it out front, keep it real. So, was I talking about the I Ching, or had I wandered off into something else? Oh yeah, I was talking about the Hathor thing. Hello, Amanda. Yeah, so this I Ching that I threw 2 nights in a row with the same moving lines. Let's just check what the moving, because I haven't even, yeah, keep it real, and I do intend to, but I'm just not going to offend anyone by saying silly things that are none of my business. How's that for keeping out of it? Right, so I got a moving line on the first and second lines. They're nice coins I've got. It is quite, somebody said it's quite hard to figure out which side is which. In that 7 serpents, you were mentioning which values certain Hebrew letters have. And like both of them work So if you just pick one, I think if you, even if you're doing an exercise wrong, apart from maybe an energy, you know, if it's like a card that you've wrongly attributed, if you've wrongly attributed it all the time, it will work as that card, if you know what I mean. The system has to be and the system has to work within its own rules. But you can pretty much make up the rules. That's kind of chaos magic, which I am moving away from a bit. So the first line, the time, oh, this was, no, I did read them. The time to control the inferior is in the beginning. You know, yeah. So whatever negative emotion seeks expression now should be reined in before it builds momentum. Use your will, which is what magic is, to return to balance. So that's just what I did. Yeah. So Moses, nice to see you. Yeah, very glad to see you. You're a nice person, and I never know who, you know, with the names. Some guys seem males, some girls are obviously female because they have. But with the magical names, I'll occasionally call you madam or sir, and you might be a sir or a madam, or you might be something in between. You might be a holy hermaphrodite like Thosis. And second, that was a moving line as well. Remember, 2 nights running, unheard of. What is the odds of having that exactly this? Oh, and having the same moving lines would increase the mathematical unlikelihood of it happening even more. So that is really trying to say, pay attention. And the second line is, a dark impulse clings. Do not resist it with violence. Never resist anything with violence, people. Violence is a dead end, literally dead end. Simply decline to express it and wait patiently, concentrating on what is correct till it passes. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So, amen to that, brothers and sisters. So, it's been a trip. It really has. It's been fantastic. And there's more to come. More excitement, more cosmic riddles. I was actually thinking, you know, the whole process of initiation. Oh, somebody asked about initiation. So I've done like Zemo. You're a guy. Hello, sir. It's nice. Zemosis. I like that name. Zemosis. So somebody asked, I think it was Lord Dreamsy, Dark Lord Dreamsy, asked if I'd been initiated, and not in a temple. I've never been. I've been in a cyber lodge, and I did quite an interesting initiation for that. But I do consider myself initiated because me and Delato were initiated as votaries of Isis when we were. Oh, enjoy your trip wherever you're going, Lisa. Safe flight and all that. Yeah, we took vows as votaries of Isis, which is the very bottom little. You certainly are, Lisa. You get around. Damn it! I've lost my place again. See, I mustn't talk to you. I'm going to take my glasses off, but then I can't read my notes. Oh God! Decisions. So yeah, the main part of the I Ching was that the problem is never other people really. It's like, is everybody wrong? Is everybody ganging up on me? Oh, or is it me that started the whole bloody thing in the first place? Because what is more cowardly than to throw mud and then just, you know, say, okay, peace. Yeah, but I'm not saying it. You see, as soon as you start even talking about a conflict, there's a chance that somebody will misrepresent what I'm saying as more conflict. So there's no more conflict ever. So, and I'm even, this is actually not even organic, this is just a roll up today because I'm going to really go for it this month. I've been blowing my money like a maniac. Now it's time to, because I was getting cocky about that, my malkuth, you know, I thought because I had a job and a flat and everything, it's my malkuth suddenly in order and I can start forming orders and all that. That was just way too ambitious, so I'm dialing all that way back, and it's just me on my own as ever. Of course I'll have friends, and hopefully I'll have friends on the show when I get this bloody mic working and get the Hangouts situation sorted, but just now it's just an amateur little ramshackle magic show that I do because I love doing it, and I love doing the magic, and I've got so much from it, and I wouldn't even encourage anybody else to take it up. It's just me, and you can watch me flip out, have nervous breakdowns, come off diazepam, and I will, my brain will be melting, and I'm still going to try and broadcast, because I want you to see the phoenix that will rise from the fog, because the fog is clearing now, you see. I think I was on so much medication before that it was just like all I wanted to do was work and come back and sleep. Mind you, Aberdeen winters are long and cold. It gets dark at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, gets light at about 8 o'clock in the morning, kinda, and it's a very grey city, so winters are long and hard here, and so sometimes it is best to just hibernate. But I've had a very active and stimulating summer, and the momentum, you know, you get negative momentum, but you'll also get obviously positive momentum. Hey, positive, how you doing, man? It does carry you forward, and I'm looking forward to the next grade now, although this one says 6 months. I mean, when you think about it, I only started making videos as Saroth the Mage about 3 months ago. So it seems like a long time, and a lot of things have happened. So I'm just going to read through some of my notes. It was never going to be a big show today. I just wanted to kind of get some things off my chest and just get back. Well, let people know that I'm back, but I'm back in a slightly different way. I won't be so ambitious or silly or egotistical. So I wrote that, you know, we are born as little bundles of, it's not us, it's we're born in a certain culture, we're born in a society, we're born to certain parents, you know, and then we're put to school. And when do we start getting a choice in our own development? You know, some people can have brilliantly successful lives and have, you know, it's usually the people that have had stable, loving environments, etc., etc. But what do the people who don't have that, what do they have? They've got like years of drug abuse, self-harm, all kinds of, you know, criminality, and those kind of things. I do think me and many of my friends, you know, with the drugs and stuff, it was very destructive. We didn't feel like we had a place in society. But slowly through exploring, you know, you've got, if you don't fit in with society, you've got to look outside your, yes, I know, I mean, what is stable, but some people genuinely are stable. Not many, I must admit. I mean, I always, when I was poor and needy, I used to look at like beautiful couples, you know, that are beautifully dressed, with all their shopping bags, especially around about Christmas, when you're skint and you're strung out, think, oh my God, if I could only, you know, you see the flashy cars and the beautiful houses and everybody's sitting around their presents. But this is an advertising way of looking at people. Real people's lives aren't like that, and you know, we've all got death waiting for us. That's the great equalizer, isn't it? It's like the tarot card, especially the Rider-Waite one. This is a bit more complicated symbolism, but you know, it does await us all, and it is the great leveler. You know, in the Rider-Waite card, they've got the heads of kings and just normal people. It's to say, you know, we're all gonna die in the end. So, but what happens when we die? This is what I'm interested in, and I do think it's similar to this massive dose mushroom trips. So, yes, I'm gonna write a Western Book of the Dead after I've done my Golden Dawn grade work, which will take about another, might even take up to like another year. No, I hope nobody is. I mean, we all are, but I hope nobody is immediately dying, or nobody dies during the making of this show. Somebody in the world obviously will, but... So yeah, I'm saying we've become a bit of a cog in a machine, don't we, where we'll have to fit in at work, and we'll have to fit in at school, and we'll have to fit in with our culture, and we'll have to... Yeah, it is a long haul. I mean, I am just starting to sort through the psychic debris now, when it's taken me 50 years and some very close scrapes with very bad things. So I'm just not putting myself in that sort of situation anymore, and I'm fighting my way out the hero's journey. But it kind of is, you know. taking hold of your life and trying to, and don't get me wrong, not all of it is battened down as tight as I'd like it to be, but it's certainly moving in that direction, and the discipline of Magick has definitely helped. But it also creates its own crisis and its own, you know, like I keep saying, the lightning struck tower, it seems that every grade has its, you get high, 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 and all the things, you know, like in the Zealot grade, it's your possessions, your family, your house. That all gets churned up, and then hopefully by the end of the grade, or maybe a little bit after, you find that everything's kind of resolved itself quite nicely. And this is the point in the air grade where things are just, whoa, everything's new, crazy, wild, you know. I had virtually 2 friends for 2 years, and now I'm speaking to like 10 people, 15 people a night sometimes. And it's great, but I have to take an in-breath, and oh my God, did it not, in that I Ching. I mean, it was just so, my chin was on the floor by the end of it. See, I do actually do some work. I've got a magical diet. Look, I'm phases. Oh, Jasmine, yay! See, it's lovely to have women in the house as well, because a lot of chats are all male, and it gets very, I'm just, boo, I'm an honorary, I'm going to be a goddess. Not a goddess worshipper again, yes. I could be a goddess, I guess. It said, but listen to this is brilliant, and it sounds like it's been translated, and there was no source, it was on a website. Listen to this. This is 44, coup, encounter, all that. The unexpected draws the breath in. And you know, I'm always speaking about out breaths and in breaths, so that spoke to me directly. The unexpected, all this shit, draws the breath in. It is a wind that tugs with 1,000,000 teeth on the uninhabited. That sounds like really modern poetry, you know. The unexpected draws the breath in. I wonder if it's a haiku, to be honest, man. It is a wind that tugs with 1,000,000 teeth on the uninhabited. That sounds bleak and crazy. I've actually written down here, you see, Michelle Embry, because I had to remember that, oh, Alistair, excellent. And email is a good way of talking, because, you know, I can't respond to I can't be instant chatting all the time. It's just impossible for me, and it actually gets me rather stressed out, and I'll end up falling out with you. And I don't want to do that. There's no more conflict left in me. Yeah, it said that it was the most controversial hexagram out of the 64 hexagrams. And also mentioned the female energy of rebirth. Oh, hi, Mrs. Serpents, if you're in the house. I can't really see who's in. 9 people watching. That's incredible. I'll tell you what I've written in my diary. This was on the 27th. It was a waning gibbous moon, 95% in Aries. And this was written at 11 minutes past 1 in the afternoon. Crazy month. Mars energy. Got myself ego inflated. Strategic withdrawal. And then I threw that. Oh, so it's right. Okay, so I'd actually thrown the first one. Undated. Naughty. Dangerous hour. Yeah, so that's coup there. And then right over the page. Coup again. Same moving lines. Crazy. Exactly the same hexagram as yesterday, exclamation mark, even moving lines, exclamation mark. So it's 44 Gao Ku. One of them is correct. Encounter. And it's good, this page that I went on to, I can't remember what it is, but it gives you like each hexagram has got hidden influence and an underlying cause. And strangely, the hidden influence behind this is 1, which is, I think, heaven is the first one. It's the creative. It's a brilliant hexagram. I used to get that, not all the time, but sometimes when I was doing art, especially visual art, I used to get it. And it says return. The hexagram that you should pay attention to is return, go back, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm dialing it back in a little bit. You encounter the trickster, the anima, which leads to shadow transformation, which is exactly what I needed, actually. You know, that's what everybody needs, is this. There's darkness inside you, and it manifests as your interactions with other people, or even in their interactions with you. But somehow, because of the process of magic, I think it always, if you do as best you can to hold on to your balance and your common sense and your, you know, real world shit, I think the storm passes. And I have written here, I had created my own misfortune, because of course you do. You know, we're not victims, are we? First line, yeah, and I even drew the little symbol, because that was such a valuable lesson. It really were. So I've been, you know, I take a lot of notes. This little bit was about how conditioned we are by culture, and how it's nice with like things like plant teachers and spiritual practice, meditation especially, and the more introverted spiritual practices. Let us peek out for a minute beyond the bounds of society and what people tell you can do, and into the realms of pure, uncharted psychic energy. And if we're really, I don't know, we can pick things out and take things back, and that is my one of my key points. Yeah, we're expected to just conform, breed, and die quietly. But I think technology may be the key to somehow allowing us to escape from all the horrible real world problems that are in the world just now. You know, the massive wealth inequality, and this is not political, this is purely humanitarian. I'm not interested in left wing, right wing. They're all fools and liars, and mostly psychopaths. So, you know, magic can seem like a selfish thing, because you're working on yourself, and I don't even watch the news because it's depressing as fuck. I don't watch TV because the adverts show me this ridiculous standard soap operas. It's all propaganda. You know how Nazi Germany became so mind washed was because the Germans had radio pumping into people's houses, which was addictive, and they even developed television. You know what I mean? So they can just pump that message to you 24 hours a day. Conform, consume, and die quietly. No, sir, we will not. And sir is society. I'll never address anyone personally, one person. It's always not you. It's always not you. So magic is not comforting. It's not. Sometimes you get in a real freaky headspace where you think, oh my God, I'm made of nothing. Society's rules are arbitrary. There is no justice. And then you just have to think, oh well, what am I going to do about it? It is the stark reality of the permanent now. Solvet coagula, dissolve and recombine. Baphomet is the initiatory force, I think. In some weird way, that goat-headed creature is there as a kind of guardian at the gate of very deep gnosis. One night the first time I'd taken a massive amount as part of a magical act, I was getting very Baphometic vibes, and I got actually quite spooked at one point. I was in the magic circle, and it was just like a miracle. The radio, I'd forgotten to put the radio on, and it had just been like, it sounded like static all night, that I started to get a little bit freaked out. And John Lennon and Yoko Ono came on, and it was the album where Yoko just screams all through it, but John Lennon was playing some beautiful sizzling licks, man, and it just pulled me right out of my fear, because she was saying it's all right, and that's where I got the idea of the super psychedelic genius club, because I thought, there's a network of people that have been to this place before and they're helping me. And that's all the kind of crazy stuff that you believe on mushrooms. And in a way, if you're going to do magic, you might as well believe in, you know, there's limiting beliefs. You know, belief is a tool. Yes, I'm not really a chaos magician anymore. I think it went too far to the other side of tradition and discipline, but I do believe it. Belief is a tool. So why limit yourself to saying supernatural things can't happen? Wonderful, beautiful self-transformations. It's not, by me believing and insisting that it's all psychological, it's still very effective, but I'd love to be able to talk to a god or a spirit and for it to have objective, separate reality. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be great? So that's what I'm going to believe. I'm going to believe in all the models of magic. And see where it takes me. That's all I can do. I can only keep going forward. What else have I written? The lesser banishing ritual is the first step. It creates sacred space, free from the influences of the material world. Well, that's the idea, you're banishing Earth and all its problems, and you're just isolating yourself in this tiny purified space and allowing these, whatever they are they, but if it's purely psychological, it doesn't quite work. It's almost like there is another reality. There are many other realities, I presume. We're finding all about like multiverse and how there could be universes inside just about any. It's crazy. So we can't write anything off. So open-minded, but Crowley also insisted on a kind of open-minded skepticism. You can't just, I got told in a dream that I was a ipsissimus, so I'm declaring my word of the aeon to be blah, because nobody's going to believe you, and it wouldn't be true. There is magical, I wouldn't say power because it's not really about power, but it kind of is. Magical energy, I think, is self-apparent. It's quite obvious to see who is really doing the work and who, and again, not accusing anyone, by God. The last thing I do. What's this? Banishing Earth like a mushroom, you grow in the dark. You grow in the dark. You grow in the dark. I grow in the dark. Sometimes I don't understand what I write. Yes, magic. Yes. So it's saying you grow magic in the dark, And I was even thinking, by me even talking about this process, I'm diluting it a fair bit, and by rabbiting on in chat rooms, I'm really spreading it out, and that's what all that sign of silence stuff was about. It was a joke, but maybe I shouldn't mess around in other people's chats. Magic is secret and it is solitary for me, although like I say, I've tried to work in a cyber order before, and it always collapses. You get really close with a bunch of people, and then the magic is filled with very sensitive people, let's say that. And I am one as well, and but it's secret and solitary. I think it's best, honestly, I don't think I could be part of a lodge, because you get all these competing egos, and I just cannot. I've got father issues, man, so I can't be told to do what by male people. I just have a real problem with it. Women can tell me anything, but men, I get real prickly when I get criticised by men for some reason. So, I mean, constructive criticism, yes, but so at first, magic doesn't care what model. Yeah, that's fun enough. Just what I was thinking about. I think of magic as an also almost personified force. It is the spirit. Maybe this Thosis thing I was thinking could even be my holy guardian angel. Who knows? I don't yet. But it was interesting. I was speaking to Soror Stardust this morning over our delicious coffee, and she has spontaneous out-of-body experiences, and she has had for a while, since she was a teenager, I think, and she's trying to explain that. And she was talking about this very clear voice she gets sometimes. Once it said something which I won't, it's her business. But the other weekend, in the temple, when I got that very verbal command in my head, just out of nowhere, stay silent. That was a voice talking to me in my head. Schizophrenia? Could be. Or, it was very good advice. So if it's a crazy spirit, it also knows knows when I should do a vow of silence, because that really did save that weekend. My most recent messages have all been about silence. See, no will dare to keep silent. This is the keeping the lid on your current magical workings. If you say, I've just done a sigil, yes, it does have a voice, and these are all things that I'm now discovering that I would have said, no, no, it's not a voice, it's just your very strong intuition, or, you know, I would try and explain everything away in a rationalist way, and I'll always be rational, because that is also, you know, if you go too far the other way, I mean, me and Lato had a big problem with this, with what to believe on the sacrament, the greater sacrament, because you'd get a mixed bag. You'd get some things that were very, very true and perceptive, and some things that are obviously just crazy and not true. So it's, what's that word again? That word, discernment. It is discernment. Because you'll also meet spirits who will tell you complete lies. Yeah, apparently you get very naughty, evil spirits, but you get very beneficial and learning ones. So that's what I'm wanting to do, but I'm kind of tied until I finish this damn grade work. So I'm going to really go as fast as I can with it. I'm not going to stay much longer. My most recent... to will, yeah, Harpocrates, or who are poor Krat, is the god of silence. So this is this thing. I've been working a lot with him. Hopefully I haven't jinxed it now. I've kind of stopped anyway. Let go of security and comfort. I didn't have any in the first place, you know, so it's easy for me to plunge into grade work because I had nothing to lose. But I would say if you're sitting with a beautiful... I wish I'd seen that comment, Darcy. In fact, I think I'll just, for the last 10 minutes, if anybody wants to talk about anything, talk about it now and I will fully engage. Oh, two viewers run as soon as I ask if anyone wants to ask anything. Or I watched a really good stream, Logos of Ophiel. I'll recommend 3 channels today. Again, Seven Serpents, of course. He's just doing the work in a very clear and understandable way. Grey Wolf, Norse Shaman, wisdom just pours out of that guy's mouth. Oh, is this an advert? It stops from time to time. And I would say Logos of Ophiel is also, I think some of his views are a bit more traditional. He doesn't use the K. I still kind of cling to the K a bit. Although my book, there's no K in the book, the Golden Dawn book, of course, everything pre-Crowley didn't have the K. So yeah, it's all about building up that tower, you know, the ego, the emotional body, the fire sexual body, you know, we need to kind of build them up, and then occasionally everything does need to get washed away and built again. It's a cycle, expanding and contracting, the in-breath and the out-breath. Be the author of your own will, you know. Old programs dissolving, new ideas coming through. The process will focus on areas that need the most work. So if you're very insecure, it'll totally make you more insecure, but then somehow you'll learn a lesson from that shadow work on how to be more assertive, perhaps, you know what I mean? Areas where you're strong, it doesn't bother so much with, but areas where you're weak, it will force you into crises and situations that force you to be strong. And if you keep your honor and your word, you can usually walk away from all situations, having made mistakes perhaps, but you know, you still haven't committed any vast sins, you know. Honesty is hard. And I've written here, negative programs are banished eventually. There's a big metaphor in Magick about, you know, your mind being like a calm, well, sometimes calm body of water, and the elements act with it, and your reflection is also the mirror. So if the lake is calm, if you manage to get yourself in a very zen kind of state, you can see things as they really are. But if there's lots of external influences acting on you, and you know, everybody has external influences, children, parents, everything, church, state, everything. So, you know, let's cut free from all that stuff, if even for an hour while you're watching Saroth the Mage go through his incredible transformation from a prince to a frog. So I think that's probably it. Yeah, it's like weeding. It's a constant, continual effort. You can't just say, okay, I've done that, don't need to do it again. You have to keep revisiting. Personal demons are, this is, you know, obviously if we're traumatized, and I can't say I was that, you know, my parents were a bit crazy, but no real harm or abuse, thank God, touch wood. I was in a really scary car crash once, but I don't think my trauma was that deep. I was just a bit of a, I had no discipline in my life ever. My dad was away at sea most of the time, and my mum was very soft, beautiful person, gentle, loving person. So I had no discipline, so I kind of drifted into bad ways very young. You know, you always pick the kids who are slightly older doing drugs, and you know, I was that kid. So I think that can cause a few demons, you know, but the real demons come from, you know, abuse. Let's not get too. But I was also thinking, you know, the rituals of shamans and stuff, they're a bit like a lot of serial killers. I don't mean to get all dark for a minute, but I think serial killers are just like, they take trophies and all that stuff. They're just extremely evil, confused people who haven't found the magic, and are perhaps, I've often thought, a lot of them have definitely were MK Ultra. I believe that fully, you know. I used to watch a last podcast on the left. It was a brilliant podcast. I should really catch up with it, but I just haven't got time. I haven't got time now, and it used to talk a lot about the serial killer psychology, and I found it darkly fascinating because these guys are just crazy. And are they being moved by these kind of demonic forces? It seems like it sometimes, I must say. And the people who created MK Ultra and all that dark shit. But I've got off the subject again. And self-destruction is a you know, heroin to me was an actual demon. It was a personified evil because it seduces you, it moves in, and then it starts bossing you around. It runs the show. You know, it's a tragedy, but we can stop. We can stop. So I think I've gone on for quite long enough. I don't know if it was really Hexagram 44. Ooh, 2 days in a row. Crazy. And I'm deliberately making this title very boring. I'm fed up of the big flashy titles and all the showbiz stuff. From now on, it's just going to be me mumbling on about boring technical magical matters. So I'll try and keep it interesting for you though. So thank you very much for attending. I'm glad I streamed today. I do like myself better when I'm not wasted and drinking. So maybe that's a little bit of a tip for Saroth the Mage. Thank you guys. Trying to remember who, if you're here, say goodbye so I can say goodbye. Darcy, thank you. Seven Serpents, yeah, thank you. Alistair, thank you for showing up, and I'll be replying to your email, sir. Darcy, yeah, just break free of it all. All. Come back. Amanda, thank you. Thank you, Saroth. I'm Saroth, thank you, Amanda. Yeah, you rewatch Jasmine. I just mumble, you know, it comes out of my head. Namaste, Jasmine. Thank you, Darcy, and I hope you. It's nice when you can chat when I have my glasses. Christopher, oh, Madfinger, nice one. Thank you for showing up, dude. Seven Serpents, yes, thank you. Bye, Michelle, lovely to have you. Bye. Okay. I'm trying to. Darcy, who else was? Amanda. Yeah. Yeah, again, great participation. I love the crazy amount of views. I'm getting more views than I have subscribers. It's crazy. So thank you very much. I do, and I'm going to stop saying I love you all the time, because sometimes I love you doesn't mean I love you. But I do love you. So, okay. Bye now. I'll just give you a quick gong. Have I stopped? No. Love you.